BTK Concepts. Today I want to talk about it, right? Topic of discussion today, violent encounters. Now, before we go into this, what I want to say is that anytime you find yourself in a situation where the other person is trying to actually hurt you, that is a real fight. That constitutes a real fight. So I'm talking about whether you're in the MMA, whether you're in boxing, UFC, whatever you might be in, if another person is coming at you with the deliberate intent to put you out, that is a real fight, right? So whether it's a sport or on the street, if there's violence involved and the violence is with the intent of doing harm, it's a real fight. Now that that's clear and we got that out the way, I want to make the distinction between that violence in controlled circumstances, right, like a ring or an octagon, and violence outside of a controlled circumstance, right, which is on the street, which is what most people who do self-defense or self-protection train for, right? Now, these two, right, they kind of mesh and they separate. They do this because, again, the violence, the intent in both is to hurt the other person, right? Boom. In sport, the intent to harm lasts for the duration of the match, right? It's you, it's the opponent. You got the referee there, right? The referee's there to make sure nobody gets hurt too badly, right? That the fight is stopped before anyone gets hurt too badly. It's a controlled environment. On the street, you don't have the referee. There are no rules. You never really know who you may or may not be fighting, how many people you may be fighting, what their skill set is, what they've trained in, if they're armed or unarmed, whether they're going to have help or not. These are all things that you are unaware of until you find yourself in the mix of it, right? The reason I'm saying this is that I saw a video recently and an individual was saying about self-defense and how on the one hand, you need to be able to end the fight quickly. On the other hand, your stamina got to be up because the fight should last however long, right? All right, cool. Stamina. Fitness is big when it comes to the fighting arts, right? Fitness is big. That doesn't mean you need to be in shape to get into it. But as you're training, you definitely should be also, as you're training your hands and you're training your mind along the way of the warrior, you should also be training your body to be able to execute. Right? You want to be in shape. You want to be able to hit harder, move faster, right? React, get reaction time, all of that. You want to sharpen all of that, right? So you want to, physical fitness is a big part of that. All right. However, that having been said, violent encounters in the street usually don't last long enough, statistically speaking, for endurance and stamina to be a big issue, right? They're not big factors in that, right? In a professional arena, they're huge factors, right? Because you never know how many rounds the fight might go. But in the street, it's usually quick, it's sudden, and over just as fast, right? That's usually how violence in the street takes place. So, stamina and endurance are good. They're good qualities to have. But the more important thing is the ability to respond quickly, efficiently, and effectively, right? Also, the ability to generate power, right? The ability to execute the things that you've trained. This is why training stuff that's overcomplicated isn't necessarily a good thing, right? Because if you keep it simple, it's a lot easier for you to execute when it matters. You want to be able to end the fight as quickly as possible. I'm not the only one who says this. In the book, there's a book translated by Thomas Cleary. It's a series of books, actually. And in one of the books, there's a letter from Takuan Soho, who was a Zen monk in Japan back in the days, to Yagyu Minonori, who was a famed swordsman in Japan. And he was responding to a question Yagyu Minonori had asked him about fighting multiple opponents. And his response was, and I'm paraphrasing here, that it's impossible to fight multiple opponents because you only have 2 arms and 2 legs, and you can only do so many things at once. So instead, the focus should be on fighting. Look at it as if you were fighting a series of duels, with the intent being to end each duel as quickly as possible, right? End the duel as quickly as possible. If you're in the street and you get approached by someone, you never know. Again, I got my 4 cardinal assumptions in the VTK system. The first is always assume that they have a weapon. The second is always assume that they have help, right? Friends, family, and sympathizers. The next is the assumption that they're more skilled, bigger, stronger, faster, and more skilled than you are. And the last is that no one is coming to help you, right? These are the 4 cardinal assumptions in the VTK system, right? With that, all of that is geared toward giving you a sense of urgency. I need to end this quickly. I need to end this because I'm fighting by myself. I don't have help, right? If somebody comes to help, beautiful, but you don't expect it. And since you don't expect to be helped, you want to end the fight as quickly as possible. You don't know if they have help, but you're assuming that they have help, and you want to finish them before their help gets there. Right? You don't know if they have a weapon, but you want to finish the fight before they get an opportunity to introduce the weapon into the fight. Right? Boom. And because you're not sure, you assuming that they're bigger, stronger, faster, and more skilled than you are, you want to use the art of the advantage to your advantage. You want to try to end the fight before they realize that you have some level of skill that would require them to use whatever skill that they have to a higher degree. Right? So you want to take all of this and use it to your advantage, right? You want to end the fight as quickly as possible. There's nothing to be gained from prolonging a fight in the street. Nothing, right? Unless, it's like a backyard tournament or like street beefs or something like that. If it's not something along those lines there is nothing to be gained from prolonging the fight in the street. But there's a lot that can go wrong from prolonging the fight in the street, right? Friends, family, and sympathizers. See, friends and family are self-explanatory, but a sympathizer, right? That's a little bit more of a murky area, right? Because a sympathizer may not know you or the individual that you have a problem with. They may be somebody who saw you come in the bar or walk wherever you walk and just didn't like you because of your vibe. But they didn't want to do anything to you. They wasn't man enough to approach you themselves. But as soon as they see you getting into something with someone else, they take that as an opportunity to get their shit off. Right? See, he's a sympathizer. He don't like you. That person don't like you either. So the enemy of my enemy is my friend. I'm going to hit you in the head too just because I don't like your vibe. See? You don't want to prolong the fight and give an opportunity for this person to say, yo, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. Let me go jump on this dude and help this guy out. Nah, man. Right? Nothing to be gained from prolonging the street engagement, man. Right? Explosiveness, right? Explosive power. That ability to generate power like this, that's what you need. Street engagements, you need that. You need the element of surprise, right? Richard Marcinko, famed Navy SEAL, God bless him. He said it, right? And I took this to heart when I read it. I read a couple of his books. He said, surprise, speed, and violence of actions is the way to win a fight. In point of fact, he said that if he ever wrote a book on street fighting, right, that would be the core of the book. The core teacher would be surprise, speed, and violence of action, right? That's it, man. It's coming from, like I said, legendary Navy SEAL. This dude was a badass. And even he's not sitting there trying to prolong the fight with anybody he gets into something with on the street or in any situation because there's nothing to be gained from it and a whole lot that can be lost. Right? So when you train with that in mind, man. Do all the good stuff, right? You should be enhancing your stamina and endurance. Absolute, right? Because that's part of being a warrior. And you never know when a situation might arise that you don't have a choice in the matter. You may need to fight for a long time, right? Or you may need to run. You may need to run and fight. You may have to fight now, run a little bit, fight some more, run a little bit. So you want your stamina and endurance to be up, right? But the things that win fights in those situations are surprise, speed, in violence of action. You want direct action. You want to be able to hurt the person as quickly as possible, in the shortest amount of time possible, as brutally as possible, because you don't want to have to worry about them coming behind you if you have to engage with someone else. Right? That's what violence on the street is like. That is the difference between violence in a controlled environment and violence in the urban environment on the street. And that's it, man. Like I said, the intent and everything, to a degree, is the same, right? The guy, and you hear fighters say it all the time, oh, I'm going to kill this guy when I get him in the ring, right? Boom, they go in there with bad intentions. But again, that lasts, unless the two fighters have something personal against each other, that lasts as long as the match lasts, right? But on the street, you're that dude's meal ticket. If someone is approaching you to rob you, you're his meal ticket. If the only way he's going to eat is by being successful, doing something to you, he's going to do whatever is necessary to make sure that he's successful in his endeavor. You have to be able to stop him in that endeavor. And you gain nothing by trying to maintain, draw that out, right? Stand there throwing jabs and trying to dance around and all that. That's not how you win, man. The Book of Five Rings, Musashi speaks about that. He said that, and again, I'm going to paraphrase, right? But basically he says that fighting the defensive fight is not the way of killing the enemy, right? You have to attack. You have to go on the attack. I believe, if I remember correctly, that's when he speaks about to scold, tut, right? You parry the individual sword and attack immediately after that, right? But if you just keep trying to parry, fighting defensively, then you have to be right 100% of the time. That person only has to be right once. And the whole time that you're parry, fighting this defensive fight, not thinking about the attack, you're giving them an opportunity to calculate, right? To realize this person is skilled, right? I need to do something else. The guy attacked you because he thought you were a victim. When you show that you're able to protect yourself from being the victim, he has to up the level of violence in order to be successful. Remember, you're his meal ticket. He doesn't eat if he can't take what you got. So you have to stop him immediately. You got to stop him. There are no two ways about that. Nothing to be gained from prolonging an engagement in the street. And even professional fighters are not trying to fight 100 rounds. Mike Tyson, famous for knocking people out that quick, right? Most fighters want to end the fight as quickly as possible because they're not trying to get hurt, right? Professional fighter, you in the ring, you in the octagon, whatever, the more hits you take to the head, all of that stuff accumulates over time. They know that, right? So they know that the faster they end the fight, the less they get hit in the head, the better off they'll be as they get older. So not even professionals are trying to prolong the fight. They train to enhance their stamina and endurance because it's good to have those qualities, but they're not trying to necessarily use them because they would rather use their power to end the fight quickly. This is fighting, man. That's how real violence happens. Real violence is sudden, right? It usually comes in ambush, right? You don't see it coming. And if you do see it coming, you better do something about it. But waiting, prolonging is how you get hurt. I don't train to get hurt, right? I don't train the people I train to get hurt. And I don't think most people who train other people do it with the intent of having them to go out there and put themselves at risk. So don't put yourself at risk, right? Don't go into a street engagement thinking that you need to have all the, no. You need to end the fight quickly, brutally, right? Make sure they can't follow you. Make sure they can't hurt you. And it's that simple, man. George Jackson, founder of the Black Guerrilla Family and Field Marshal of the Black Panther Party. Anybody who knows his story knows he fought a lot in the penitentiary out in California, right? In Soledad Prison. And that man said it takes 2.5 seconds to kill a man, right? 2.5 seconds to kill a man, right? And people was trying to kill him all the time. You don't need a whole lot of time, man. You just need to be right. You need to be right. You need to be strong. You need to be fast. You need to be quick. And you need to be serious. And you need to have bad intentions when you coming at somebody who had bad intentions towards you, right? always remember that if somebody attacks you on the street, right? They kill you, you're dead. Your problem stopped right there. But everybody who cares about you is now hurt. That person has hurt everybody who cares about you by taking you out of the equation. And even if you don't die, if you go into the hospital, right? Everybody who cares about you is hurt because you're in the hospital. And they're going to feel like there was nothing they did that could have helped you. So you have to stop that person from hurting the people that you care about. That's the mindset, man. That's the mindset. He's not trying to hurt you. He's trying to hurt the people you care about. You stand there trying to fight him for 5 minutes. That's 5 minutes you give him to figure out what it is you're doing to stop him, and then he can put you in the dirt. End it quick, man. Right? It's not a professional match. You're not going to get a belt. Nobody's giving you any money at the end of the night. There's no prize. The prize is your health. The prize is your life. The prize is going home and get to hug your family, your son, your daughter, your wife, whoever it is you care about. Right? So please, man, please keep this in mind. It's a little food for thought from me to you. End the fight quickly and convincingly, right? 3 things to do. Well, 4, really. Need to be able to do effectively in order to hurt you. They need to be able to see. They need to be able to breathe. They need to be able to move. And they need to be able to keep their blood flowing in their body, circulating inside. Right? You get 2 of those 3, 4 things and you're good. Right? So you go into it, you pop his eye out of his head, you stab him in the eye, you stick your fucking finger there. Excuse the curse. But you take your thumb and tickle the back of his brain, stomp on his ankle, whatever, to make sure he can't follow you, and you get the hell out of Dodge, man. But you don't stand there for 10, 15 minutes trying to fight with this person. It's that simple, right? So I hope that something I said made sense, and I hope that whatever made sense sticks. Don't stand there, man, trying to fight somebody for a long time. No benefit come out of that, right? Trust me. As somebody who lived a life, real violence happens quick. And the criminal's not trying to stand there and be dancing with you, man. So if you make him feel like that's what he got to do, he's going to do something nasty to get you to stop dancing, right? So you end it quick. It's that simple. It's Shadow, signing off, 52 VTK Concepts. See you on the other side. Hold on.
My only goal right now is to murder like Mook. Stay loaded like Lux, nigga, I don't give a fuck. This is bag up music, gorillas in the trenches, we out here for real.